Good evening. So glad you dropped by. My name is Linda Fippen, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Ontario, Canada. So it's so nice to have you come by. I'm very excited about our new catalog and some of the new products. And I was wondering if someone feels comfortable responding to suggestions about maybe their favorite Stampin' Up set, and they would like some inspiration or some like a kind of a swappy type thing where we share ideas. Please feel free to let me know, because there's so much choice in our new catalog that I just want to be putting together some ideas that you would enjoy and you could learn from. So I do have one of our new stamp sets that I've put together some ideas, so I hope you enjoy them, and let's get started. So our annual catalog, you were able to order today, so I put in my requests. There's so much to choose from, really is hard. If you don't have your own demonstrator, feel free to contact me. I have my email, and I would be glad to help you in any way that I can. The stamp set that we're going to use today is found on page 110, and these are the stamps. It comes with some really nice dies, and I have some samples of them cut out for you, and of course some cards to go with it. The stamp set is called Quiet Meadows, and it might be one of those unassuming stamp sets, but I'll tell you, there is a lot that you can do with it. And I know that there are a lot of ladies trying the alcohol markers and alcohol solution to make backgrounds, and that's what I'm going to show you. I did do my very first video with this design, so you can check that out. It has a whole bunch of hearts on it, and it was a lot of fun. But tonight I'm going to show you some other ideas, and I hope you enjoy them. So these are samples of the dies that come with it, and there's lots of ways that you can use these, so I'm going to show you tonight some of my ideas. There's a couple of butterflies, a couple of tags, and there are 6 flowers that you can add to your cards. So the vellum technique is very popular, and it is so easy, and I hope that you will give it a try. So you use 99% alcohol. There's the 99%. The ones that are less alcohol are not as effective, so the 99%, and this is just a Life brand, a couple of dollars at your drugstore, Walmart, you can pick it up. So I'm going to show you, first of all, this is a result of alcohol and markers, and I used 4 of our green, and I put just a little dab of brown in it. So I'm going to do one with the greens and browns and one with some blues. So you will not believe how easy this is, and anyone can do it, and they all turn out. So when I do it, I use the wider end of our alcohol markers. It does have to be alcohol markers to work. So this particular green is light meadow, mossy meadow, and there's darks. There's a light and a dark of the two colors. The other color that I'm using is Old Olive, and it is a light and a dark, and the light and the dark of the brown is a cinnamon cider. So you can do any way you wish, and you can go anywhere you want. So that is one color. This is the darker. And you don't even have to cover the whole page by any means. This is Vellum, and it is in the catalog. And I love Vellum. There's so much that you can do with it. It die cuts wonderfully. As you can see, the color, you can color on it. I think I can get that right. Okay, so we have all the greens that I'm just going to put a little bit of brown just to break it up. And it doesn't look very creative at all, but the backgrounds that it makes is just delightful. So I don't want too much brown in there. So I poured a little bit of alcohol in here, and this is a small dish, and it's not even a half an inch. And I have a wider brush, and you just dip it in, and you can see that it starts to move. And the silly lines just disappear, and it looks so creative. So you can take your heat embossing tool to dry this, and it doesn't matter how many of these you make, every one you do is different. So that still doesn't look too exciting, but it is amazing. I'm going to set that over there to dry. And the next one I'm going to do, and I just use the same alcohol, is I put, this one here is going to be the blues. This is Misty Moonlight, the light one, and we will, you can swirl it. This is Light Night of Navy. And we have the Dark Misty Moonlight. I just, again, like to use the bigger. And this one here is a light balmy blue. Why can I 100% open the other side? I have the Dark Night of Navy. I really liked the blue. Well, I liked both colors, both of the backgrounds, because they just look so nice. But there is more to do than just put the alcohol on, which is what I'm going to show you tonight. So I was experimenting with this because I wanted to see if there was other ways that you could work on these colors. So when it dries, the lines will be awesome. So I'm just going to put that aside to dry. And you do want to put a cover on your alcohol because it's quite smelly. Probably not so good for you. So the first card that I want to show you, I did with a green background. So again, it doesn't look that great, but wait till you see it when it comes together. So this was the green background with just the greens and a little bit of brown. And what I did to try to see if it would work, there is on the market a Versamarker pen. And all I did was take the wide one and just put it over it, put embossing powder on it, and that's how it came out. And I was very pleased with that. So what I also did, okay, so let me just get this out here. So that was with just the Versamarker, but I wanted you to see what else you could do. So this particular stamp set comes with a splatter on it, and I put that in Versamarker and dabbed it on, put gold embossing powder on it, and we have these gold effects. Now, I discovered that if you put the white behind it, you can see more of the design. If you put just a darker color, it loses some of the swirl in it, in the color. So that's what I did. And I also, I'm going to show you this part, is I put a little notch in the top and the bottom of my card, and we will put the gold on in just a minute. And about a foot of gold, let me see what it's called, Simply Elegant Trim, which is very pretty. It comes with gold and comes with silver, so I'm using the gold tonight. To put your vellum down, I'm using a specifically designed vellum tape runner that I got at Amazon. And we want to put that on the right side, and we want to put it on the back. So both of these pieces of paper, the vellum and the white, are 3.5 by 4 1/4. The card itself is 11 by 4 1/2 and scored at 5 1/2. And I notched it 1/4 of an inch on the inside, and that's just a matter of ticking it with your scissors. So we will put, so there's the vellum with the gold on it and the designs, which I think is very, very, very nice. Loses a little bit in on the camera, but in real life it is lovely. So I took our thread and put it through the top so it catches the notches on both sides, and I just tied a knot. You could tie a bow, or I should have made this a little bit longer. Okay, and then I just trimmed, because you don't want it quite that long. Just trim that up. Convince them to go the way you want. And I put on some flowers. And how I did that was I used the papaya, pale papaya, and old olive for the our meadow flowers. So here is the papaya. And you can, of course, use any colors you wish. That's not the same flower, so let's stick with the same flower. Here we go. So I just dabbed it on, the small and the big one. I like to, when I do this, kind of go on the back, because you know cardstock has color on both sides, but just in case you miss it. So there's the papaya. And the mossy meadow. Is right here. So it's just dabbing it on. I like this method because it's very simple and it looks awesome. So again, a little bit on the other side. Okay, so there's one flower, and then I took the greenery and I actually used a different green because not all greenery is the same color. So let's use the evening evergreen. And again, if you have plants, you know that every leaf is not the same color. So this works great because you will never get them all the same color unless you spend an awful lot of time. Okay. So when I used this particular greenery, oh, there's a little bit more here. I took my scissors and just trimmed it a little bit so there were more pieces to it. So that one, that, and this little one. And then just glued them in place. So there's one piece. The glue does stick on the vellum. It's when you have vellum that's going on another piece that sometimes it shows through. And then you get like a line of whatever you're using. So just okay. So the sentiment that I used for this one, it says thinking of you. And I already embossed it in gold because I thought little pieces of gold looks very nice together. So I put that on there. On the inside, I'll just show you what I did so you don't have to do that again. I had some more greenery that I did that too. Put some green on it and put a few little gold gems on there. And that's our first card tonight. And don't ever get rid of any of your pieces of your vellum because that's what I used on the sentiment. So you certainly can use it on other pieces as well. This is the die set that I used for scalloped contours for the inside message. So that looks quite pretty. Okay, so my vision is to show you how to put other things on your piece. So this is the blue piece that I did, and I put it through the painted texture embossing folder. So you have texture on this, but that's not the magic. The magic is when you take your Versa ink pad, which was here, just, where did I put it? Just a second. Sorry, I had it over there. And what you do on the textured side, so there's one side where it sticks out more, and you take your actual pad, and you see I got some of the ink on there, and you just bring it down like this, and you catch the edges of the embossing. Then you take your embossing ink, embossing powder, I mean, and it will stick. Stampin' Up is coming out with a copper embossing powder, which will be very pretty. And depending on how hard you put your Versamarker on, you can always take a paintbrush and take off if you find that's too much, but that will look very nice. And that's how it turns out. So I thought that was pretty. So let's tell you, making a mess, always a mess. So we'll put this card together and I'll show you what my vision was for it. The same size is used on this card as the other card. And let's see where my sentiment went. So we'll put this on the front of the card with a little bit of glue. And this is Night of Navy, which I thought is like really emphasized or showed how nice the blues were in there. And what I did for the inside of the card was I took the stamp, stamped it, and embossed it. Okay, where did my glue go? There it is. So we'll just put that in there. I like working with glue because you can move it around easier than when you use sometimes the tape runner makes it hard. And I don't know where my sentiment went, but what it said was many thanks, and it had dimensions on it and everything. Okay, well, it'll show up. And what I did on the outside of this was just put some flowers just a couple of them. Not that one. And you can do the same thing with the paint daubers, or you can leave them white. So for the purpose of this, let's just leave them white. Put some glue on. Even if they go over, you can always cut them out after. And of course they don't want to stay. And the sentiment that I had was many thanks. But we'll just pretend that it's there because it was in gold. It was embossed in gold. But for tonight, it'll be just white. And just feel free to cut those little guys off. And there is card number 2 with the imaginary many thanks up there and the gold embossing on the inside. And if you find that's too much, covering up the gold, certainly don't put as many flowers on there. So that is card number 2. Card number 3. Now this card, I did use the embossing folder, the subtle 3D folder with the ink on here, and it is very subtle. But what I did was I put the verse mark on this one. You can't see the texture, but it's on there. And now this particular verse marker I will use for only doing these kinds of techniques because it will get really dirty. So the same thing was I went over it like this. I took the heat and stick powder and put it over there the same as I would the embossing powder. And then I use the gilding leaf. Now on this particular folder, the gold is very, very subtle, but it looks just what I wanted. I mean, the design is subtle, little bit of gold, very pretty. So that's how I did that. If you're going to use the gilding flakes, they're a little messy, but not to worry. It's not a big deal to clean up. Then see the difference when you put the white on it. And the gold is very subtle, but it looks very nice. So we put that with a piece of white behind it. It is the same size, which is, I will put all of the sizes down later. This particular card is not Night of Navy. It is Misty Moonlight. So we'll put this on the front. The flowers, see, there's my sentiment for the other card. I knew I had it. Oh, well, we'll stick it on this one. So I did the same thing to these particular leaves, was I dabbed them with the dauber. So let's put, I'm going to put a little more glue on here this time. And I used the in colors. So this is the, I think you could remember those names, Fresh Freesia. And the pink is called Polished Pink. There we go. And you can see that I did it on both sides. The placement of the flowers is whatever your preference is. And let me see, we'll do the pink one. I had two purple ones here, but so we'll put this on. Let me put that down a little further. And then just cut off the parts that are too long. And this is one of the butterflies. There are two butterflies. There's a full shaped butterfly and the one that's just flying by. So we're going to put that on. This is coming in for a landing. And You're So Kind with a little bit of gold that brings out the gold. On the inside of the card, instead of doing gold embossing, I did the Night of Navy because I liked how dark it was. So there we have 3 cards that we made together tonight. There's one. So the 2 navy ones and the one that has some green in it. And then just as a little other suggestion, even having them all black is quite stunning, quite a silhouette look. So there are our cards that we worked on tonight. I hope there was some ideas that inspired you and gives you some ideas to make your own. Please don't forget to give me some ideas of cards that you would like to see in the future, and I would love to come up with some new ideas. And thank you for all your subscriptions that you guys are doing and your likes and your comments. So please continue to do that so that you will get a notification. So have a great week. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching and dropping by. Bye-bye.